And we are live, and we're here to talk about natural health, and we're here to talk basically about detoxification, cellular detoxification, all the way down to the cellular level. And that's what this channel is all about. It's about the simplicity of nature and how we can get back in line with that. I want to introduce you to my dog. This is little Bitsy here, and she's trying to calm down. So we're going to maybe have a little bit of a toss here for a while. So anyways, that's Bitsy. Hi. So anyways, um, it's been a great week. Dr. Morse this morning posted on his website an image of a woman and her husband, and they came into the office, and she had been in a wheelchair for years with multiple sclerosis, and they wanted to show Dr. Morse the results of going on a raw food diet high in fruit and also the herbs, and cleaning out the lymph system, rebuilding the endocrine glands, which would in essence help rebuild the nervous system. And it was such a wonderful, wonderful site. I'm going to post it on my website. You can go to Dr. Morse's site and see it, but it was so beautiful. I got choked up, and a lot of people commented that they got choked up as well. So really, really something for someone to get out of a wheelchair and walk again. And she still has work to do. Her husband was helping her across the room, but it was just such a beautiful thing to see. And this is why I do this. This is why we're all here together. We're here to learn about this and to also promote it. And one of the great things is I came out of my suffering, my fibromyalgia, and I became not, I don't want to call myself a healer, but I'm spreading the word of healing naturally. So sometimes these things that we get are a blessing because it gives us the power and the strength and the desire to help others, because we got relief. We found relief in such a beautifully simple way by realigning back with nature. Myself, I wanted to share the message because it is true. It's true for me experientially. I experienced the healing power of the raw foods and of the herbs. And it's just so beautiful to see someone with such a tough, whatever you want to call it, disease. I don't really think of it as a disease, but a tough. Her body was really shut down, and nerves are one of the hardest things to regenerate, and she is regenerating, and it's just so beautiful. And to see her and her husband celebrate this joy, and just to hear it in Dr. Morse's voice, you got to see this. I'll post it on my website. But yeah, just waking up to that was just really, really great. What an inspiration. And so hopefully we can learn from all these things, and we can hold on one second. I might be having some streaming problems here. Let me see. I don't see anybody online yet. Hold on. I'll be right back with you. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, there's a little bit of a technical issue here, but we're down for a few seconds. But anyways, yeah, I hope that that I can help you. If you have some particular issues, that I can help you. Get on the path and find remedy through the natural way. We put chemistry into our body. That's what we do, and we also take in chemistry through our breathing and through our skin and things like that. So it's really all about chemistry when you really get down to it. What kind of chemistry are you putting in your body? Are you putting in the chemistry that nature wants you to put in, or are you putting in some foreign things that our bodies have a hard time not only recognizing but a hard time dealing with? So that's what it's all about. Getting back to basics, getting back to nature, getting back to mostly raw foods. And raw foods is just not a trendy buzzword. Raw foods means that it's living food. There's life energy in that food. That's what we're supposed to be eating. This life energy runs our bodies. And I'm always amazed at the human body. And one of the things that really amazes me is how people can run their bodies on the food that they eat. Over the summer, my daughter and I went down to Costa Rica, and I ordered a vegetarian meal on the plane, and what came was basically beefaroni without the beef. I mean, it was clearly canned pasta. There was a little salad there with basically iceberg dressing and a little bit of color on it, and you know, some other things on the plate. You know, maybe I think there's like a cookie or something like that, and something else. And I looked around, and everybody was gobbling this up, and I don't know how many people even ordered the vegetarian dish, but I couldn't eat it, and I just preferred to eat the raisins that I brought and some nuts that I brought. But you know, to look around that airplane and see people, and this is their food, this is their dinner, this is what they're running their bodies on. And the guy sitting next to me, you know, gobbled down some kind of a beef dish, and literally, I mean, I could smell him. I could smell him as a meat eater. And this is what happens when you really get clean. So it is amazing how people can run their bodies on low quality food and get away with it for years and years and years and years. And some people, you know, like Dr. Morse says, he calls it the George Burns Constitution. They can just run their bodies for their whole lives and live to be 100 on crud, smoke cigars and drink martinis and all that and get away with it. But those people are rare. But you know, generally, it is amazing how people can really put this garbage in their bodies and run it. Now, albeit they don't run it very well, and they may not even be aware that they're not running it, you know, at their highest levels. They might be so steeped into what they're doing, they don't even realize what they're doing. And that is the case, I believe. So, you know, when you start to replace that and you start to put in real food, real live living food, you know, that we're supposed to be eating, things change. You don't need herbs, you don't need anything else. You're just going to start to change. And you know, they call Whole Foods, and they've got a picture of a, what do they got? A picture of an apple and a picture of an herb or something as part of their logo. It's called Whole Foods. But you go into Whole Foods, and 90% of that store is packaged, processed, or frozen foods. They got a huge meat counter. You know, they do have a great produce section, and they have a fantastic salad bar. So, but Whole Foods is not, is the majority of it is not Whole Foods. The majority of it is processed foods. And you know, they try. You know, they try. You know, I guess it's very, you know, profitable for them to limit certain things in there and make the consumer aware of things. But nonetheless, you know, if it comes in a package or frozen, it's not really living food. And if it's processed in any way, you know, the life force is the enzymatic force especially is destroyed. So be careful. You know, be careful of these labels of health. You know, they don't always mean health. And you know, there's plenty of vegetarians that are in terrible shape as well. And you know, they're on a high grain diet, which is acidic. It's mucus forming. Um, you know, it makes them gain weight. It's hard on the kidneys. It's hard on the adrenals and all that. So you know, just because we're told that we're eating healthy things or it has a healthy label on it, we don't necessarily have to go that way. So you know, what is the most basic food? The most basic food is fruits and vegetables in their raw form, just picked, you know, just harvested, just pulled from the ground. And that's it. That's how simple this is. And then you have your herbs, of course, which are you know, well, to make a tincture, you have to soak that usually in an alcohol or glycerin to get the constituents out of that. But you know, they're done in basically a whole form. I guess you could call that processing with the tinctures, but you know, they're raw. They haven't been heated, and you know, this is a way to get the constituents out of those herbs and get it into a concentrated form. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Let me go see if we have some questions over here, and maybe we can get to work and help you guys out. Sorry for Bitsy, she's a little bit rambunctious tonight. So, but I'm trying to find any kind of questions here. Please bear with me just a second, and we will be right with you. I am assuming that we are live here, and for some reason I cannot see the questions just yet. I'm having a little bit of a technical problem here. Seeing some questions. Anyways, I don't. Yeah, there's something going on here. I'm not seeing the questions. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. I do see your questions now, and I'm going to just start in the order. Did we start? Yeah, we started. Barbara's here, and Agravet's here, and Marv is back. He's here from Oklahoma. How you doing, Marv? Great to see you again. We have Barbara with the question here. I'm having trouble sticking to fruit all day long besides having a salad at night, which helps. Any other suggestions? Wow, yeah, no, I know it can be kind of tough making this transition, Barbara. And you know, if it's a cold morning, start with something warm. You know, start with a warm tea. And and then this is what I do. I wake up and I have a warm tea, and sometimes I do cheat with coffee. And but that gets everything kind of ready for me to because I drink my fruit and smoothies in the morning, and I have a NutriBullet, and I'll put in my stuff and just blend it up. So they are kind of on the chili side, especially if I'm using frozen berries. So you know, first off, having something warm really helps. And I'll have usually 2, maybe 3 of these smoothies throughout the morning. You know, when I get hungry, I'll just have it, and I might have a banana in between. And that's it until, you know, 12 or 1 o'clock. And then you can make the decision, you know, it depends on how fast you want to get in or how deep you want to get into your healing. You can make the decision, well, I'm gonna, you know, maybe I'll have a fruit salad instead of the smoothies, you know, to feel more bulky. So you might have a fruit salad, or you might say, I'm going to go to green drinks. You know, I'm not in a super rush to dig really super deep with the detox, but I still want to keep you know, my strength and all that, and not, you know, and not have so much energy. You can kind of blend it together with some green drinks, or you could have a salad. You know, you could have a salad for lunch, and then you could go fruit the rest of the day into dinner. You know, have a small salad, and then maybe for dessert have some fruit. So yeah, it is kind of hard. It does take some creativity if you're trying to stay all raw, 100% raw, which I highly recommend if you're detoxing. I recommend at least 80% fruit if you're detoxing, and if you've really got something really going on, 100% fruit. So, you know, play some games, keep it interesting. You know, there's a lot of creative things you can do and still stay 100% raw. And yeah, there's some great tricks. You know, one of the most popular raw sites on the internet is Fully Raw Christina, and she's a young lady who's really super energetic and just a sweetheart. And she's got all kinds of great tips, and she's really inspiring. You know, she's just a little angel, and she wears bright colors. Her site's really bright, and there's a lot of great tips on there on staying raw. And yeah, she's got some great tricks, and you can do some fun things. You can get a spiralizer and make your own spiral zucchini, which looks like pasta. You can have these fake pasta dishes. You know, all kinds of fun things to stay raw. But yeah, staying high fruit, especially in the wintertime, takes a little creativity and a little bit of fortitude. But you know, as you really detox and see these results, and you feel this energy of the high fruit, you know, you'll have that strength to stay in there. So I hope that helps, Barbara. So good luck to you, and you know, stay as high a fruit as you can. Okay. And let's see. Let's go to the next question here. We have. Let's see here. Let me see. Okay, so the next question is from Marv. Mark, can you comment on basal temperature reading and its uses? Okay, the basal temperatures, of course, are your, you know, that's your thyroid, that's your body temperature. Okay, you want to be between 97.8 and 98.3 on that. And what you do is the first thing in the morning before you get out of bed, before you have any kind of movement, what you do is you put that thermometer underneath your arm, and you get a reading there. And so that's where you want to be. It shows the strength of the thyroid. And yeah, so that's basically what we're looking at. And you know, of course, the thyroid is also part of your metabolism. So if you're sluggish, having chronic fatigue and having trouble losing weight and all these kinds of things, and it also helps us get a reading on the parathyroid as well, because they're those are close together. And so yeah, so that'll help us do that. And there's a lot of other diagnostic things we can do to see the strength of these glands. But the basal temperature reading is really a must. And these thermometers are super cheap. They sell them for women for ovulation. I got mine for $8, a little digital thermometer. I got it off Amazon. So a great diagnostic tool to have around, as well as a blood pressure monitor, which I talk about all the time. $50 investment. You can do your blood pressures, and once you learn how to read those and how those show you the strength of the adrenals and the kidneys, really valuable stuff. Okay, hope that helps you, Marv, and good luck to you on that. Let's go to the next question here. And I'm working off only my laptop right now. I was working off my PC and my laptop, so it's a little hard to get to your comments here. Okay, so Gravante, I guess. I eat mostly raw ripe fruit and some raw to warmed up vegetables not cooked. What does it mean if my saliva is alkaline, but my urine is also alkaline, but has sediment in it? Okay, so, well, good. I'm glad you're having mostly raw ripe fruit. That's fantastic. You have raw to warmed up vegetables and not cooked. Anything under 118 degrees is technically raw, because that's at the point where you start destroying enzymes. So yeah, if you want to have some warm stuff, and excuse me, if you want to have some warm stuff, and you want to stay raw, keep it under 118. So you'll have these warm soups, but you're still raw. So yeah, I know, especially in the wintertime, it's hard to stay cold. But yeah, do the best you can there. As the fruits are going to be your most, the fruits detox, and the vegetables help you build. So if you're detox, you want to stay as high of fruit as you can. Yeah, but mixing that together a little bit, 80-20 is perfect. Unless you have a real bad thing going on. What does it mean if my saliva is alkaline? Okay, so we'll take this at each step. If the saliva is alkaline, that's a good thing. Okay, that shows that you're not acidic in the mouth, and you're not going to be destroying your teeth and gums and all that kind of stuff. And acidity in the mouth is a sign that you've got some lymphatic problems up in the head area, which is never good. Okay, if the urine is alkaline, you will actually want the urine to be a little acidic, because you want to know that the kidneys are filtering out acids out of the lymph system. So if you have alkaline urine, that's not what we want to see. We want to see it slightly acidic. Okay, so yeah, if you have urine in the sevens, you want to get down in the high sixes. Okay, so it's a sign. You are getting sediment, which is great, but you could do better. And you'll do better when you start seeing that acidic urine. Okay, let me know. Chime in and let me know how much sediment you're getting in your urine. If it's just a little bit, or if you're really unloading there. So yeah, that's a good thing. I always like to talk to people about their filtration, because there hasn't really been a lot of research on it. Hasn't been, somebody hasn't done a vast research or had a message board or anything that kind of combines all this information together. I'm trying to keep a mental diary of all this that's going on. So yeah, let us know about that. Barbara says, thanks. Oh, good. I'm glad I could help you there. Afe, okay, great. From New Zealand. Hi, Mark. Can you explain why leaky gut autoimmune disorder does not exist? Are you talking about two separate things? Two separate items there? Autoimmune or well, let's just take leaky gut. I think what happens is, with leaky gut, let's say that you have inflamed bowels, right? a lot of times, you know, you'll get that, oh, I have leaky gut, all right? True leaky gut is a perforation of the bowel, and that's really serious. I mean, that leads to peristalsis and all those kinds of things. So, um, you know, I would say that a lot of this, what's called leaky gut, is really acidosis in the GI tract. And autoimmune diseases, you know, that's sort of a blanket all for things that are not really known. I mean, the idea that your body, your immune system starts attacking you, and that's the reason why you have this, just doesn't make any sense. You know, what makes more sense is that you've clogged up your sewer system, and your lymph system has become acidic, and now those acids are destroying. That makes a whole lot more sense. And you know, we'll take an autoimmune disease like rheumatoid arthritis. You know, yeah, acids are destroying your joints and robbing calcium out of your body and destroying your structure. So that makes a lot more sense to me. You know, and so I hope that answers your question. If they were indeed the same question or two separate questions, but yeah, if you have leaky gut, you're in big trouble. If you have a perforated bowel, you're in big trouble, and you're gonna have to get to the hospital and get that fixed ASAP. And it's not something that's just passive. Oh, I have leaky gut. My bowels hurt. You know, no, that's not it. Okay, all these things, in my opinion, irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, colitis, all these things are acidosis in the bowel wall, in the intestinal walls. You know, this is something that is completely overlooked. You know, when you do a colon cleanse and you flush out the bowels and get these colonics and all that, yeah, they're getting out, you know, a lot of stuff, but they're not addressing, you know, the real deep problem of acidosis inside the bowel walls. So this is what we have to go after. And we do this through detoxification, through lymphatic detoxification. And there's specific herbs for the bowels that go in and, you know, number one, remove the plaque in the bowels, and then get in there to the bowel walls and start moving lymph and start cleaning that out. And that's what we want to do. Okay. And so that's the way to to get rid of leaky, so-called leaky gut. Okay, if it's not a perforated bowel. Hope that helps. Okay. Okay. I'm feeling cold and tremors. Is feeling cold and tremors part of detoxification? You know, it's been my experience, both personally and you know, in talking and working with other people, that there are so many things that are part of detoxification. You know, like with me, you know, I just went through a detox, and you know, my right side started feeling like I had shingles, and really odd. You know, I'd never had shingles or anything like that. And that was right when I was going through a detox and all that, and it felt like it was getting into maybe into my that would be the ascending colon there. But you know, it went away as the detox left. So yeah, you know, what I say, you know, if you want to figure out things, you kind of got to reverse engineer it. You know, so would cold be part of detox? Okay, so what is coldness? Okay, coldness is your body temperature, right? Not being right. It could be your thyroid is down, it's clogged, right? Um, Sometimes, you know, what happens when you're clearing out glands, they might go either way. They might go hypo, overactive, or underactive, you know, and they can go back and forth. You know, when, you know, a detox does bring on cold and flu-like symptoms, we know that, because toxins are being released into your body, much like when you have a cold or the flu, all right? And I know when I get a cold, you know, it's you know, I get cold. Maybe that's why they call it that. But I can get cold, and I can get hot. You know, it goes back and forth. We've all had those night sweats, and we've all had the chills when we get cold. So yeah, tremors. Yes, I've had tremors when I've had a cold and the flu. It can be part of it. As you know, with the tremors are going to be what? That's your nervous system, right? Nervous system is tied to the adrenal glands. So yeah, when you're detoxing adrenal glands, they might go a little bit hyper or hypo on you. Yeah. So yeah, just think of it. Think of one of the first things we say is cold and flu-like symptoms. So yeah, that could be part of it. Those are part of the release of toxins and the clearing of glands and organs. Sometimes we really dig deep, and it depends on how toxic we are. But when you release toxins back into the body, so the body can get rid of them, they do have to go through you. They do have to run their course through you, and this can be really. This is why they call it the art of detoxification. This is why, it is an art. When this stuff starts happening, the first thing people want to do is they want to run to the doctor and they want to go, oh my God, my body's breaking down. I'm dying here. I'm everything's breaking down. I'm scared. I want to get to a doctor and maybe they can put me on some antibiotics or they can put me on some medicine and or open me up or whatever. That's the first reaction. And I never tell people not to go to the doctor if they want to go to the doctor. Sometimes they can save your life. But, understanding, what a healing crisis is, what a detox symptom is sometimes difficult. And I'm learning every day. I'm learning all the time. And I'm constantly talking to people and with my own detoxes too. And working with people in the Facebook groups and all that kind of stuff, and listening and taking it in and reading and all that, because there's so many things that can happen during detoxification. Navigating that and getting through that is really where the art is. And it's easy to kick a body into detox. That is not difficult. It's easy to clean the body, but being able to get through it. Let's say you have bronchitis, and you're hacking up a lung and you're really tired and you're just, bronchitis is really tough and it can really wear you down. And you might just say, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm going to the doctor. I'm going to get antibiotics, right? And I don't want this to go to pneumonia and all that kind of stuff. And who's to say? You know your body hopefully, but just know that when you go and you get those antibiotics, you've now just suppressed it back in the body. You have not released it from the body. So let's say you were kicking in a detox and you were bringing up this stuff, right? Or you just got bronchitis. Your body's trying to get it out. When you suppress it, it goes back in. You're going to have to get it out eventually, or it could turn into more serious things, like lung cancer and things like that, because you have not released these toxins and acids from the body. So yeah, so this is where the art of it comes in. This is where intuition and your strength and all that comes in. So I hope that was a long answer there, but I hope that helps. And yeah, it is an art. Detoxification is an art, and it can get scary, and it can be very confusing, and it can manifest as other things that you might think are other conditions. So that's why it's good to work with a counselor, and someone who's trained in detoxification, in this type of detoxification. And Dr. Morse is the only one I know of that has trained people to deal with these kinds of issues and to help them navigate this and help them persevere and get through it and get these things out of the body. There's so many people, when they get a little cold, the first thing they do is they run to the drugstore and they get Tristan and NyQuil and all that. Well, the body wants to get this stuff out, and they've just thrown it back in the body. So nothing's happened. They're going to get cold again real quickly, and they're just going to have cold after cold after cold. Once you get these things out there, deal with it as much, and sometimes never again. So, anyways, hope that helps. Stay tough, you guys, but don't be a hero. If it's really serious, get to a doctor. But really, try to try to really think about it and navigate it and work with somebody to to help you with that. And if you ever listen to Dr. Morse, I mean, he says some crazy stuff, some good stuff. He claims that nobody ever dies from pneumonia. It's always the treatment of pneumonia and things like that. So he's got 45 years of experience, and he can, he's the guy I would refer to if I didn't know the answer on something for sure. Okay, so basal thermometer that I bought said only use it in my mouth, not under the arm. The two temperatures are different. Yeah, they are different, and only in my mouth has my temperature been in the range we want. Thoughts? Yeah, Barbara, get one that I would get one that you can use under your arm because it is a different temperature. So yeah, I when I ordered mine on eBay, I just maybe I lucked out and just got the right one. But if you have any trouble, get a hold of me and I'll give you my brand name. It was only $8 and a little pink thing and all that. But it said, yeah, it said it could be used for under the arm. So yeah, maybe look. You may want to send that back. I don't know when you bought it, but send it back and then get another one and make sure. The great thing about Amazon, you can read in the comments, and they'll tell you. I mean, other people will tell you what they've used theirs for and how it works and all that, and kind of read the reviews on it and things like that. So yeah, I would send it back, get one that goes under the arms, and so we get a proper reading there. Because it is a great diagnostic tool, and it helps us when we're doing all this work, we're making all these sacrifices, and we're changing our life, and we're trying to get on the road to Wellville here. It's great to have mile markers. We can have little celebrations and all that, like like the first time we get kidney filtration. That is a big mile marker. That should be celebrated with sparklers and and a big fruit bowl. So let's celebrate these things. We're doing great work here. We should celebrate it. Okay. So Racco says, "Oh, we have some more here." Okay, so yeah, I guess I'm skipping over some. Did I skip over some? I'm sorry, you guys, if I'm skipping you over. I'm trying to. Let's see here. Let me go back up. I think I might have gone back up. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so what blood tests? This is Jean-Pierre. I remember Jean-Pierre. How are you? Which blood tests are the most useful in the context of regenerative detox? That's a great question. Yeah, I love working with people that have a doctor that can do these blood tests, and we can see the the kidney creatinine levels. Those are really valuable for sure. Your cholesterols are valuable. Cholesterol levels are valuable. Um, cholesterol is that's an interesting test. Cholesterol can tell us the strength of the adrenals and the kidneys and the lymph system. Because as I've explained before, cholesterol, we tend to think that, oh wow, I'm eating too much meat, that's why I have high cholesterol. Other people say, well, how come I have high cholesterol? I don't even need to eat any meat. Well, it's because you're acidic and your adrenals are down and they're not making enough acid steroids. So the body goes to the liver for cholesterol because cholesterol is a great antacid. It's a lipid. It's a fat that helps buffer acids. So high cholesterol can really give us a great idea of other issues. Now, of course, cholesterol plaques, it can be the cause of some high blood pressure, hypertension, also heart disease, of course, vascular diseases, all that. So those are two great tests. I don't worry so much about the blood pH. Blood pH is really easy to fix. They don't really have too many direct lymphatic, markers, if you will, on that. The blood tests I like are food allergy tests too. That really confirms that we're doing the right thing here. When I got my food allergy test, they took my blood and put it up against, they called it a food panel, put it up against 300 foods, and I found out that I was, highly allergic to dairy and to gluten, and to beans, and things like that, eggs. It really changed my life, and so yeah, that kind of blood test is really great. Um, certainly getting your, the test back for TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone. That can lead us, to know that maybe the pituitary is the gland that's down and not so much the thyroid. Because if you have low TSH levels, the pituitary is the master gland. It's in the head and it controls all the other endocrine glands. So if that's down, then you're not making enough, of the TSH to stimulate that thyroid. And chances are, if you have other adrenal glands, other endocrine glands that are down, that pituitary is down. So that's a great thing to know there. So yeah, off the top of my head, those are some big ones there. And I think that of course, if you have a cancer, it's good to get those markers too, to know you're going in the right direction. That really can give you a lot of peace of mind in that direction too. And sometimes the body responds very quickly. Sometimes in detoxification, I mean, you can get results really super fast. Other people, it takes forever. So it's just nice to know where you're at, where you're going, if you're going in the right direction. And these tests really help us. Okay, I hope that answers your question there, Jean-Pierre. And let's see. Here is another question, from Jean-Pierre again. When the GI broom is too hard on us, even in very small doses, what else can we do for malabsorption? Wow. I would say, have you done the stomach and bowels formulas? Those are a lot easier, and those are a good place to begin. Um, the GI broom is very, very harsh. I will agree with that, and some people can't tolerate it at all. I mean, try the smallest amount you can, and try the stomach and bowels. I usually put people on the stomach and bowels formulas for a month or two before I get them on the GI broom. Just to get their bowels ready for this thing. I mean, if you kind of went in, cold turkey and just hit the GI broom, yeah, it could stir up a real storm there. It could. I mean, what happens is when you get on these herbs, you're not used to them. I mean, it starts uncovering, pulls the plaque off the bowel wall, and you might have a very acidic bowel wall there. And now all of a sudden you've got these acids in there, and acids can cause pain. And they've now just been uncovered, and now they're creating a ton of mucus and some pain and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would really maybe just give up on the GI broom for a bit and get some stomach and bowels. Depending on how many bowel movements you have a day, he has 5 different formulas. Take the one if you're regular, going 2-3 times a day. Take the 2. Or actually take the 1 if you're more than regular. Take the 2 if you're regular, going 2-3 times a day, and then on up to the 5 if you're not hardly going at all. And that will start conditioning, your intestines for the more extreme. It's all about moving lymph and moving acids out interstitially, between the cells. And I'll tell you, some of these tissues have just been, they've been acidic for so long and buried, with layers of mucus, of just hardened mucus and all that. Once you start to uncover them, stuff comes up that's been dormant for years. This shingle thing on the side of me, I mean, it was like almost like it was like hot to the touch. I don't know where this came from, how long it was there, whatever. I've never experienced this before, but I uncovered it, during a detox. So yeah, you might uncover things that you don't even know you have. They've been there a long, long time. So especially in the bowel area, and I just want to say, so many of us have really, really terrible bowels. I mean, it's so chronic. And I was thinking about that today. You know, when I grew up, It was sort of the baby boom generation, the post-war era. You know, and everybody came back from the war, and you know, you can tell by the television and all that, everybody just wanted to feel good. They just wanted to feel good. So, you know, we were rebuilding here. You know, there was the big housing boom, and everybody had a little nice house. You know, a little, you know, almost a manufactured house, but these little, you know, these little quafted neighborhoods started popping up and all that. But anyways, the food got really weird too. The food got really friendly. Didn't take any time to prepare. We had such a high faith in science. You know, it was the rocket age, the jet age. You know, the scientists were God. I mean, you know, whatever they were cranking out was the greatest thing ever. TV dinners, and as I mentioned, Tang and space food sticks and all this garbage. You know, so that's what I grew up on. And Jean-Pierre, I think I remember you were maybe in your 60s or 70s. So if you grew up in America, you grew up on that. You know, you experienced that stuff too. Um, you know, it just was a time when we were eating just really bad food, dead food, chemical food, you know, stuff that's highly processed and just ruined our bowels. And you know, we're passing that weakness, or we have passed that weakness on to our kids. And the state of your body at the moment of conception is the state you pass on to your kids. So they're down even more than us. You know, we passed on all our space food sticks and TV dinners to them. You know, and their generation is you know, and part of my generation is McDonald's and Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruities, all this stuff. So you know, so it until we turn this around, we're just getting worse and worse. So you know, this toxicity in the bowels or anywhere in the body is you know, is being uncovered. We're flushing it out. You know, man, I was eating Count Chocula and Fruit Loops and all that stuff as a kid. So, you know, this stuff goes very, very deep in the body. And you know, some people say we're all just nothing but tubes. You know, we have all these capillaries in both the circulatory and the lymphatic system. We're all just a bunch of tubes. And these tubes need to be cleaned out. They need to be detoxed. They need to be flushed out. They need to get flowing again. And that's going to take some work, and it's also going to cause some pain as this toxicity and acids are flushed out and have to run through the body, get to the kidneys, get filtered out. Okay? So good luck to you on that. You know, don't let a little bit of discomfort really stop you. Back off. Don't go beyond your level. You know, don't ever push it too far where it hurts you to the point where you never want to come back to this. You know, you don't want to do this to the point where you give up and it just, you know, where you run from it, where it causes a bad reaction every time you think about detox. You don't want to do that. You do want to be strong. You do want to go for it, but you don't want to push it too much. Okay. So Jean-Pierre, the art of detoxification is what you're going to need here. You got to navigate this and keep pushing on, and you're going to have great results. Okay, trust me on that one. You're gonna be thankful that you clean this out. And you know, one thing about the bowels is if they're not clean, you know, you're reabsorbing toxins. The bowels are highly absorptive, especially the small intestines, you know. So you're just reabsorbing this toxicity back in the body over and over again if they're not clean. You know, and this can lead to just this general feeling of just not feeling 100%. So once you start getting this stuff out, man, it just all changes. So good luck to you on that, okay? And let me check for some more questions here, okay? Um, okay. Let's see. All right, so can you talk about the glandulars? How often should you take them for a boost during a detox and regeneration? This is Raw for Steve. Hi, Raw for Steve. You know, the glandulars they're so fantastic. You know, I just always say do a bottle or two, you know, and then take a break. You know, think of the glandulars as You know, a lot of times people, like if they have low testosterone or low estrogen or whatever, they'll take a hormone. You know, they'll go to the doctor and get a hormone. Well, think of the glandulars as that, but without those side effects. You know, when you take a hormone, whether it's insulin or estrogen or testosterone, when you take these things, the body gets lazy and it kicks back and it stops making them. But not so with the glandulars. The glandulars actually go in and strengthen the glands. They don't put the glands to sleep, like when you take a hormone. So this is what's beautiful about the glandulars. But yeah, do them in waves. You know, don't go on glandulars for a year. You know, give the body a chance to rest. You know, let's say you're doing an adrenal glandular. Let's say your adrenals, you know, anything under 110, you might want to, you know, low 100s especially, you might want to think about getting on an adrenal glandular or a pure raw one in you know 400, and you know, watch your blood pressures. You know, that top number, that systolic number is going to, that's your adrenal punch. You know, that's the strength. That's your, you know, your neurological strength there. So, you know, if that starts getting back up to 120, you know, high teens and 120s, you know, you're there on that round of glandulars. Okay, if it starts to drop back again, you may go for another round. So yeah, use these diagnostics to help you with that. But yeah, don't stay on them for an extended period. That's not good. Just do a bottle or two and then take a break and you know, monitor what's going on. Okay, and yeah, they are a great part of I'm glad you say detox and regeneration, because that's what it's all about, especially when you see the woman like we saw today, got up out of a wheelchair. I mean, this is unbelievable, and this is all done through nature. You know, this is all done through nature, and it is about regeneration. It really, truly is. It's not just about detox. And thank you for reminding me of that, Roffer Steve, because it is about regeneration. You know, we can regenerate this body, every single cell, head to toe, and this woman today is proof of this. And there's proof all over the place. And regenerating nerve tissue is one of the hardest, but regenerating, you know, bowel wall tissue and regenerating glands and organs and all this stuff, and eye tissue and brain tissue and all these things is possible. And you know, but it does take a commitment here. It does take a you know, the knowledge of the power of raw living foods and herbs, and the belief and the faith. It really is about faith in the long run here. But anyways, yeah, great question. I really appreciate that, and I hope that helps you. Oh, Marv, as always, thanks, Mark. Yeah, you bet, Marv. Anytime, anytime. Um, okay. Oh, I might have skipped one there. uh, if I have a little sediment here. I have a little sediment in my urine, sometimes quite a bit. Also, the urine is alkaline. Okay, we talked about that. Eating vegetables, sometimes acid, sometimes acid eating fruit. Could this be my body healing slowly? So let me get this straight. When you eat fruit, sometimes you get acids in the urine. Okay. The urine is alkaline eating vegetables. Well, let's think about this. Okay, so all right. So as I said before, that you want the urine to be a little bit acidic. It shows that you're detoxing acids out of the body, and you're getting those acids to the lymph, and they're being kicked out through the kidneys. So you know, like I say, all the fruit is the most cleansing. So and fruit moves lymph. So yeah, okay. So you eat the fruit and it moves lymph and it cleanses and it gets those acids out of the body. So that is a likely explanation for that. With the vegetables, you're alkaline. The vegetables are not going to be as cleansing. You know, they're great for building, but they're not as cleansing as the fruit. So that could be a reason why you're not moving as many acids out of the body. with the vegetables, and why your urine is more alkaline. Um, I hope that answers your question. Let me just reread this. Okay, so you have a little bit of sediment in the urine. Okay, so I'm just going to take that as a statement on its own, and that's great. Congratulations on that. That is absolutely wonderful. A little bit is a lot in my book. Um, you know what my experience has been is that with urine sediment, it's I have not, to be honest with you, I have not found a rhyme or a reason for why sometimes I get these big blasts and other times I don't. Sometimes I get so much out. It's just unbelievable. It's just like almost like it just released out. And I remember one time I got a big release of sediment, of mucus, and all this stuff out. And the night before I ate poorly. so, so it certainly wasn't because I was moving a lot of lymph and I just happened to hit my diet perfectly that I was, 100% grapes or something, and that caused the big lymph movement. No, it was it got released when I didn't eat particularly great the night before. So yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to figure out this thing, but anytime we see filtration, we're definitely happy about that. I don't care how little. I mean, if you hold it up to the light and you see little speckles in there, just thank God you're moving lymph. 'Cause a lot of people aren't. They're just getting clear urine for months and months, and they're just not. They're just plugged up. So yeah, any sediment's great, and keep an eye on it. Take a lot. Have that mason jar by the toilet. Always be looking at that and keeping a mental diary of what's going on. And sometimes you'll be surprised. You'll see a lot of sediment for no reason at all. Or maybe there is a rhyme and a reason. I haven't figured it out yet. I'm trying. So, yeah, but celebrate that. So that's the first part of your question there. And but I've done some. Okay, also urine is alkaline. Okay, I get your question. Alkaline eating vegetables, sometimes acid eating fruit. So we talked about that. And yeah, fruit is the most cleansing and the most alkalizing. And alkalizing because it moves acids out of the body. Okay. Could this be my body healing slowly? Absolutely. Anytime you're getting sediment in the urine, you are in healing mode. You are moving lymph. You are cleaning lymph. I don't care how small it is. We all have to start somewhere. And like I say, some days it's real light, other days, even different parts of the day are real heavy. So keep an eye. You might be moving, in fact, everybody, you might be moving a lot more lymph than you're giving yourself credit for, because none of us check it all the time. We're out and about. We're not going to, what are we going to do? Bring a mason jar into the restroom, at a restaurant or something? No. So we may be moving a lot more than we think we are. Keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it and celebrate those movements, and try to back roll and see why you got that movement. Maybe there's a reason. Like I said, sometimes you can get lymph filtration by kidney filtration by eating raisins at night with not consuming a lot of water. That happens to people, and it might be because the raisins are dehydrated grapes, of course, and grapes are very cleansing, and then it might be pulling. There's not so much water, so it's not flushing so quickly, so it has more time to pull. That might be the reason for that. So keep an eye on it. You might be filtering more than you think you are. And yes, your body is healing, and congratulations. Congratulations. Moving lymph is healing. It is the most powerful healing. Alkalizing the body is the greatest thing you can do for the body. This is it. This is the key to it all. Remove the acids and you remove the hurt. You remove the degeneration. You remove the pain. You remove the swelling. You remove the mucus. The body produces the mucus to protect from the acids. The mucus clog the body and cause more slowness in the body, clog things up even more. So it's a vicious cycle. So anything you can do to move this, anything you can do to alkalize the body, including not eating acidic foods. This is the key to it all. The key to it all is realkalizing all the way down to the cellular level and inside the cells. So this is it. It's really super simple to get our heads around. It's really it's really hard to stick to and get it. I always say, I can tell you in 5 seconds how to be the greatest ski racer in the world. All you have to do is make sure you go through every gate and get down the hill the fastest. But there's a lot more to it than that. So yeah, the simplicity is don't consume acid forming foods or very little, and get the kidneys filtering, and that's pretty much it. you know how do you do that? Eat a high fruit diet, 100% raw if you can, and then learn about the herbs, and it's really that simple. And so yeah, you are healing, you are moving lymph, you have kidney filtration. Congratulations, and keep up the good work. How do you eat healthy in a restaurant? Rackos. Wow, that's a great question, man. How do you do it? I mean, I told you the story about the airplane. I mean, how was I going to eat healthy on that airplane? Oh my God. It's sometimes, I mean, I've been to some restaurants and the choices are slim and none. Um, Number one, I mean, I live here in Ventura, California. I have a very short list of restaurants that I will choose to go to. There's just a very small amount, and we do have some organic restaurants and all that. One of them just closed, unfortunately. But sometimes it gets to the point where there's nothing on the menu at all. You're with friends, they want to go to, I don't know, Chili's or wherever, Outback Steakhouse. I don't know wherever people want to go. And so you don't want to be a party pooper. So yeah, I'll go. And you figure, well, I'm just going to go have a salad. But you look on the menu, and all the salads have meat on them, or beans, or they come in a tortilla or whatever. You have to tell the waiter, well, let me have this, let me have that. One of the first things I ask, I said, does your salad have field greens? Are they field greens or romaine? Is it a dark salad? And I mean, if it is, we got a great start there. Is it organic? I mean, if it's not organic, you have to have a choice there. Can you handle a non-organic salad? Well, I mean, if you're not super toxic if you're not really, if you can handle it, go for it. But if they say all we have is iceberg lettuce, or I look and I see a salad, it's just all just weak. I'm not even going to have that. I mean, I might just, it is hard. It is really hard. I mean, I might just order a baked potato or something. I don't know. It all depends on the case. Just try to keep your choice as high as you can. Worst comes to worst, just not eat. Just say you're not hungry, and just, go home and have something to eat afterward. It is really difficult. It really truly is. You may always want to carry some kind of thing with you, like some raisins or something, and just excuse yourself, go to the bathroom, and wolf down a bunch of raisins. I don't know. This is all part of the art of being raw, I guess, or the art of being healthy. Find out what the soups are. A lot of times they'll have a vegetable soup, without a lot of. Yeah, I mean, if they have a bunch of beans in their soup and all this kind of stuff, I won't eat it if it's a vegetarian soup. So yeah, it is difficult. You got to kind of have to navigate it. You may want to call ahead to the restaurant and ask them these questions. There's a lot of tricks you can do, and sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and take a hit, I guess. I don't know, but do the best you can. Don't try to be perfect. I mean, I don't know. I think that's just. I mean, a lot of perfect people just are not perfect. I know that, and to pretend that you are is just. I don't know. I wouldn't go down that road. Just do the best you can, okay? And I like to not call attention to myself either. I don't like to make an announcement. I'm not going to eat this, or there's nothing here for me and all that. And that only just causes people to, you know. I've been thinking about this. People, they know what they're doing, but I think we have to save face. We have to have a way for people to save face. In other words, if you say to people, if you're giving your sermon, your lecture, and you're saying, Anything under 100% raw fruits and vegetables is not good. You're poisoning your body. Well, you're telling that guy that he's an idiot and he's poisoning his body. You can't approach it like that. So, in other words, that you're smart and he's not. That way, if he ever decides to come around and go high raw and all that stuff, you don't want to appear like the winner, because then he was the stupid guy for coming over. So people want to save face. They want to, nobody wants to feel like they're an underling. So always keep that in mind. Always be respectful of other people. This is where they're at right now. They can change on a dime, and I've seen it happen over and over again. So these people that are wolfing down a T-bone, the next week might call you up and say, "Hey man, help me out." You might have inspired them, but be humble, be gracious, and don't appear to be above anybody. But do the best you can at restaurants. And airplanes, man, I've given up. Just bring a bunch of raisins. I think you can still get those through the TSA. you know. Um, uh, so yeah, things like that can help. Let's see if there's any more questions. I know we're getting down there on time here. But all right, I'm glad. Agravante. Am I saying your name right? Agravante. Anyways, I'm glad I could help. That's what it's all about. I mean, hold on. I think I have another question here. Okay. Afe, what kind of tips would you suggest in finding a good herbalist that prescribes TCM herbal concoctions? Okay, TCM is a traditional Chinese medicine. The best guy that I've found is Ron Teagarden. He has a company called Dragon Herbs, and he's very knowledgeable on these herbs. And he's got a great book out. I think it's called The Healing Power of Chinese Herbs. And I still do take a few Chinese herbs. I love reishi mushroom. I take it every day. It's a great immune enhancer. They call it a three treasure tonic, and which means in TCM, as you probably know, Fa, but in TCM there's the three treasures. It's called the Jing, the Qi, and the Shen. Okay. And the way that Ron Teagarden describes is really, really cool. He says, okay, you have a candle, right? So the candle wax would be your cheese. That would be your. I'm sorry, Jing. That would be your Jing energy. Okay, so the Jing, think of it as your battery store. Okay, this is the energy that resides dormant in your body. Okay, and then the Qi is the active energy in your body. You've called up the Qi from the Jing and from nature, and now you're combining that, and it's now your fire. It's now your heat. Okay, it's now your metabolism. All right, your metabolic function, and then the Shen is your spiritual nature. Okay, that's your wisdom and your intuition and your consciousness, if you will. So the reishi is a three treasure tonic. It's one of the only ones in Chinese medicine. I think it's number one on his list. And I take it every day, and it's an amazing herb. I mean, it just, when I take it, I really feel like I sort of get into a more meditative state and a more contemplative state, no matter where I'm at. So it's really wonderful. And there's been a lot of tests. In fact, reishi is an approved anti-cancer drug in Japan, and there's been a lot of studies on it boosting the immune system, especially the T cells, the lymphocytes, the thymus cells, and so which are great at kicking out the bad guys. So I love that one, and and the Hisha Wu is a great endocrine herb as well. The Romania, he breaks it down into more, they kind of talk about the organs more than the glands in TCM. But it's a great book if anybody's interested. It's really good. I mean, I've shifted out of the Chinese herbs and gotten more into the detoxification herbs. Um, I'm sure there's a lot of correlations there, but I've shifted the bulk of my herbs are the ones that specifically go after the glands and the cleansing and the lymphatic herbs. But certainly the Chinese are also into berries. The goji berries is a big one, and these are fantastic for the kidneys. The endocrine glands, as the berries are. So, and Siberian ginseng is also in the TCM, and that's really a fantastic adrenal herb. So there's a lot to learn, from this. I mean, this is 5,000 years of herbology. So this is a great book, and I'm glad you mentioned that. It's a great thing for all you to know, Chinese herbs. But if you're going into detox and you're trying to regenerate, stick with what we know here, that works. But when you're past that and you just want to improve things in certain areas, and he talks about all that. The Chinese herbs are fantastic, and also the South American herbs are wonderful. The pau de arcos and the una de gatos and all these things that they're finding. I mean, so yeah, the plant kingdom is really our really where the power is, and getting away from the thinking of that isolated chemistry taken out of the whole plant and concentrated and even synthesized, and that chemicals are going to be superior to nature, to holistic nature, has not proven to be correct. We're finding that out. The amount of degenerative diseases is off the charts. Cancer, almost half of us get cancer now, just crazy. I mean, you just look at the numbers just skyrocketing. Diabetes, 1 in 3 of us is going to have diabetes if this trend continues. I mean, this is just outrageous. And we have to figure this out. That this is the stuff that's taking us down. Get back to real chemistry, real food. Food is chemistry. The father of medicine, Hippocrates, said it. Let food be thy medicine. I mean, what else do you need to know? I mean, he said it, and he's the father of medicine. So, anyways, I think that might be all the questions here. I'm willing to answer some more if they came up. Your thoughts on binaural beats and isochronic pulses? Oh, Marv hit me with the good one here at the end. Oh, wait. All right, I got 2 more. Okay, I got 2 more here. I've got 2 more here. Okay, so binaural beats. Okay, this is not this is not part of detoxification, but I'm a big fan of binaural beats. Hemisyncing they call it. Basically, you have 2 hemispheres of the brain, and what they do is they can stagger the pulse of the beat, basically frequencies, and you can use these to rebalance the brain and all that kind of stuff. And I've experimented around a lot with it. I think it's really great. I do listen to them from time to time, and yeah, just hemisyncing I think is great. It really helps a lot of people. Isochronic, I've heard that term before. I'm not so much adept into that one, Marv. But yeah, binaural beats, they can't hurt you. They don't detox you, but I think it's great technology. And yeah, I even had one of these machines that was it was called the Brain Tuner by Sota Instruments, and they claim that it helped people rewire neural pathways and all that kind of stuff. But I played around with that a little bit, but I need to play with that more. Okay, all right. You probably know me as Nick Agravon. Hey, Nick, all right. Very good. Very good. Okay, I'll remember that, Nick. Thank you. Okay, what would you suggest for Crohn's colitis? Okay, so we're going to end with a big question here. Okay, this is a huge question. All right. What we're talking about here is we're talking about complete, bowel restoration here. Okay. In my belief, it's my belief that Crohn's and colitis are interstitial lymphatic constipation, which is turned to acidosis and destroying the bowel tissues. from the inside out. Okay, it is a acidic condition destroying those cells. So what do we do? You know, how do we handle this? Well, you know, detoxification. Detoxification, you have to detox before you can regenerate. We know that. So when we do have a bowel condition like that, when we do have acidosis in the bowels, in the bowel wall that's destroying things, we have to do a detox. Okay? The only way to detox is to detox the whole body. You can't just say, I'm going to detox the colon. It doesn't work like that. And that goes for any condition in the body. Okay, anytime you have acidosis or lymphatic constipation in a specific area, the whole body needs to be detoxed. You may target certain areas that are really sticky and are really hard to get to, or where there's just a lot of stuff going on. And the herbs are great for that. Let's say you have something in the head. Yeah, there's specific herbs. Upper circulation and brain and nerve are the herbs for that. You know, so the herbs can get specific, but we need to detox the whole body, number one. So that is the 4 areas. I'll go over it again. It's a great time to redo this. So kidneys. We want to get the kidneys filtering. Number 1, numero uno. Kidneys are inflamed. They're blocking. They're full of mucus. They're full of acids. They can't filter lymph. So kidneys. All right. So then we need to go after the GI tract. Okay, so you're going to be hitting that, and this is where the problem is. But we need to get the GI tract draining. It helps the drainage of everything else, and it helps us not reabsorb toxins back in the body, so we're not fighting this so hard. So we want to get that working at the same time. We want to move the lymph. So there's herbs that move lymph, and also going on a high fruit diet does all this as well. So we want to move lymph. Okay, so there's 3: kidneys, GI tract, moving lymph, and then we want to rebalance the endocrine glands, especially the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands make steroids that counter acids. If the adrenals are down, you get more acidic. All right. So yeah, it is specific in that area, and we can target that area more with more herbs. We can target that area with the stomach and bowels formula and with the GI broom if you can handle it. You know, sometimes with Crohn's and colitis, it's very sensitive there, so you're going to want to use some soothing herbs like marshmallow root, slippery elm, things like that as you're detoxing. So yeah, there's some navigation to be done there, but basically, get on a high fruit diet. It's gonna help the bowels cleanse. You know, get on a lot of fruit. It's going to move lymph. It's going to be alkalizing. It's going to be cleansing. And get on the herbs and do the 4-way detox. You know, get all those 4 areas and work that. So I hope that answers your question. If there's more, I'm going to pick them up next week. You know, I hope I answered everybody's questions, and I hope I was of some help here. I'm trying to I'm trying to keep it simple, yet I'm trying to be here for you to help you navigate some of the more complex issues. So I thank you all for participating, and I thank you all for being here tonight. Hundreds of people are watching these during the week, so you know, your input is really valuable. Your questions are really valuable. And please, everybody, go to my site. I'm going to, right after this broadcast, I'm going to put it up on there of this woman walking, getting up out of a wheelchair with multiple sclerosis, doing high fruit and doing the herbs. And you know, this is just so amazing. You know, this is true healing, and this is what it's all about: healing and regeneration. Detoxification leads to regeneration. This is the beautiful thing. So don't despair. If you guys are hurting out there, there is remedy, okay? And it's found through nature. So God bless you all, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for all your input. Thank you for sharing all this, and you know, hopefully you guys will find remedy, and then you will be in my position where you will be sharing this information. We will spread this information throughout the planet. So thank you very much. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.